YouTube world. So I thought I had been, I'd done with experimenting off the back of last week's videos, but I keep waking up with all these ideas in my head, and I'm just hoping that one of these ideas will be successful. So, you know, stick with me. I feel like a kid, you know, remember you used to make mud pies, or was it just me, in the garden? You used to add a bit of this, a bit of cut grass, flowers, you know, and make a concoction. I feel a little bit like this, but before I go into what I'm doing, my colours, I'm going for kind of like a seascape colours in my mind. I've got black. I'm going to use that as a cell activator though. I'll go into that later. This is a blue mix, ultramarine blue with silver, but I'm going to add some, I'm going to darken that up because it's too light. I'm in the process of using up a lot of leftover paint. So that's my blue. I've got PBO pearl blue, I've got Amsterdam grey blue, and I've got PBO 360. In here, that's colour shift, folk art colour shift blue. I don't know what colour that's left over, and or is that the one? I think that's the colour shift. I have no idea what that is. I think it's obviously teal, but from whence it cometh I do not knoweth. So okay, so I'm going to go and mix up some cups for my backgrounds, and I will explain what I'm going to do. So I just wanted to go through how I darken colours up, or knock them back, neutralise them, make them more vivid. So golden fluids are fantastic. These are the best you can get, okay? But they're very expensive to use for acrylic pouring. But a little goes a long way. You would mix this up 5 parts pouring medium to 2 parts paint, or even 1 part. So little goes a long way. I have had this for ages, and what I do to darken colours up, I will literally put in a few drops like that, grab a spoon and just mix. There we go, I have a dark indigo blue. So that is what I use these for. So let me try and explain very clearly, more for my benefit than yours probably, what I'm doing with my little experiment here. So all my colours here are just my standard colours, okay, mixed with my pouring medium. So my pouring medium is 700 ml of Screwfix No Nonsense PVA, 300 ml of water, and I mix my paints, so 1 part paint to 2 parts of my pouring medium, and then depending on the thickness of the paint densities, they differ obviously, I will add more water or less water to get them all the same consistency, okay? So let's talk about my cell activators. I'm calling it cell activators because I don't actually know if it's going to activate cells. I know that the last videos I did, it did create some lacing with the varnish, the spray varnish in some titanium white, but I'm going to do things a little bit differently today, okay? So I should have been a chemist, shouldn't I? So this is my white cell activator, and this is Amsterdam titanium white mixed with my pouring medium, exactly as my colours. But to this, I'm going to add some varnish. Now I've had this lying around for ages. This is a waterborne acrylic polymer varnish from Jackson's, it's their own. And I just want to see what it does compared to the spray varnish. So I am literally going to add probably don't know, I'm going to eyeball it. About a teaspoon. About a teaspoon. If you don't mix this in really, really well, it will split. You'll get that kind of pulling away of your colours. It looks a little bit, I don't know if I've got any at hand to show you. Anyway, mix it, mix it, mix it, mix it, mix it, mix it, mix it. And then when you come to do it, use it, mix it again. So this one, okay, this is my black seller activator. I'm going to do exactly the same. Exactly the same. So this one, I've just siphoned a bit of my normal black off with pouring medium and PVA water. I'm going to add some propylene glycol. What on earth is that, you say? Okay. It's an odorless, colourless, waterable, soluble liquid. It's used a lot in skincare products, cosmetics, soap, room sprays, oil burners. Now, why on earth am I using this? I have a client who's a high-end painter and decorator. I mean, he is not your normal painter and decorator, and he does a lot of marbling effects. And I was picking his brains once about Floetrol. And he said one of the ingredients in Floetrol was this. Now, don't go out and quote me on this, because this might not work. I might have ordered the wrong one. But I have had this sitting in my cupboard for 6 months, and I'm going to put a squirt in this. Now, if I used to use a lot of this, there's no way my painting would dry. So, obviously, Floetrol has drying agents in it. So I'm just going to add a couple of drops. That's my, I'm going to see, I doubt if that will work, but we'll see. This is my background white. Now, if you've watched my last videos, you'll know that I've tweaked and I've experimented with this so much. And the one that I've kind of, let's put a little on that. The one that I've finalised on, having said that, I don't think you ever finalise anything in fluid art. I think you're always developing, always tweaking, always after one painting you think, well, I'm just going to do a little bit differently the next painting. So I'm giving you all this as a guide. Don't go out and do exactly as I do. It might not work for you. Go out and experiment. I would just encourage you to experiment and tweak and find what works for you. Okay, there is no rules. Find your own pouring medium. Obviously copy others when you first start out, but then as you develop, you find a style that suits you, you find a style that you love, and you become your own artist, and you're not just copying others. And this is what I like to use as a background, not all the time. Okay, so it's 50% titanium white, 50% white silk emulsion to 2 parts pouring medium, PVA and water, and that is it. Okay, so let's see how it goes, shall we? A bit nervous. Okay, so I have here some various size shapes of paper towel, which I may use to swipe with. I have a couple of palette knives, which I may use to swipe with. And I have some plastic spoons, which I like to use the back of to swipe with. Very, very light touch, obviously heavier and lighter again, and this obviously soaks up some paint. So, I'm using old canvas. I think actually, I've actually used this twice The second time I used it, I scraped it off straight away, so because it was rubbish. So I've painted around the sides just with white acrylic paint because it's good quality canvas, so I've got high hopes for this. I'll just take a swig of coffee. So it seems that whenever I do a video at the moment, my dryer's always in the other room going. And so I apologise if you hear a humming noise in the background. So, what are we going to do first then? Okay. White, blue. This is my white, goes that way. White background, 50% titanium white, 50% white silk emulsion. So at the risk of sounding like a broken record, it's really important to spend time doing your base colours. Obviously we have to cut a lot of it out because the video would be too long. So it's a good 20 minutes, and always torch your base because you'll get air bubbles, and when you start to tilt they'll catch and they'll pull. Now, I think I've said before as well that I like to show the drips on the side of my canvas, as long as they're nice drips, because I feel it gives relevance to that this is a fluid art piece. But that's personal preference, isn't it? Right, let's get going, shall we? This is the good bit. To do is torch that, and then I'm going to tilt a lot of it off. So for this technique I don't want a lot of paint left on the canvas because I want it to dry well. So now we're going to experiment. I'm going to start off with my kitchen towel, okay? I think I'm going to change my gloves first. So start off with the white. That's really thick. That's way too thick. I think it thickens up as you leave it to sit. So this is the white, titanium white, mixed with my varnish. So I'm just going to fold this over. I'm going to put it in the paint. I'm going to let it drip off. Okay, I'm going to lay it and drag it quite slowly. Oh, look at that. Ha ha ha. Well, that's produced cells, hasn't it, guys? Lacing. A little bit on the back of the palette knife going the other way. Didn't have so much control over that. Try it back of the spoon, so I just put it in the back of the spoon. Better. So I like the effect of the paper towel. I'm going to cut a piece even thinner, unless I've got a little thin piece. Cool. Goes in the paint. I'm just wondering whether to thin this down even more. There's nothing I like doing more on a Saturday is coming in here, shutting the door and just playing. Just playing. Right, so let's try and experiment with the black now. I'm swiping the sides as well. So as I go over the side, I'm just letting it run down the side. So this bit here is quite a harsh line, so I'm going to break that up with some more black. I love what's happening here. I love it when the colours merge in together here. Do you see right in the middle? And silver's doing its thing and taking over. I think this needs breaking up again. So it's worth taking your time in between swiping just to let it develop and see what happens. All I'm trying to do now is introduce a little bit of movement. So I want my dark corner because it draws your eye in. So when you reuse a canvas, again, broken record, it doesn't shrink back, okay? There's no bounce left in the canvas. That's why I keep getting bare canvas. So I actually wanted a lot more negative space in this, but just, you know, you go with it, don't you? It's still an experiment. So we'll ditch this. Won't be using that again. I might make some soap. Having said that, stay tuned for the dried results. Okay, so this is the next day. I couldn't resist it, and I did do a little bit more work on it. Just in the bottom, I wasn't happy with it. I put some more white through here. I think it's okay, and if you just notice here, it's just beginning to crack and pull. They go all the way up, and now I know that is because it's a used canvas. I just was expecting too much, I think. See that there? What a shame. I don't know if I'll be able to pull that back from the brink of death. We'll see once it's completely dry. Because other than that, I quite like it, and I'm going to be doing more of these for a little while.